How to create a roadmap for a strategic plan. Now, when you hear the words strategic plan, many leaders are envisioning something different in their minds. The word strategy is just like the word culture. No two leaders have the same definition. And so we're going to give you a model for how to create your strategic plan that encompasses all of the big pieces that you will need, as well as a plan for how to create it. Now, when most people think of organizational strategy, they think of a 20-page document that has a SWOT analysis on it, and maybe there's competitive analysis and market intelligence and all sorts of information on potential product innovation and an R&D budget. There's so many things that could be encompassed in a strategic plan. But the best strategic plans are simple. In fact, the best strategic plans can be summarized on one slide. They are the best strategic plans because they are simple, and what makes them powerful is the fact that they are memorable. McKinsey did a study that showed that less than 5% of employees understand their company's strategy. And I can relate because I've worked at many organizations, both large and small, and oftentimes I didn't know what the company's strategy was. It wasn't until I became an executive and had a seat at the table in creating the strategy that I actually understood the strategy. That's the problem with strategic decision-making these days. Not enough employees are invited to the table. So the first step in creating a cohesive and powerful strategic plan is elevating the voice of the employee. Oftentimes, it is the frontline employees who have most access to customers and most knowledge of what's really going on with our products. So it's important to ask employees what they think about a strategic plan. How can that be done? It's not as complicated as it sounds. Most strategies are created in an insular boardroom at a leadership retreat. All of the executives or the board members fly to Napa and they rent out their hotel room and they sit down for 2 days and they work it out. They put all of that knowledge that they gathered in their MBAs to the test and they come out with the perfect strategy. But no matter how perfect that strategy is, if your employees don't understand it, then is it really working for you? The answer is no. So when I work with organizations to develop their strategic plan, I start by elevating the voice of the employee, either in interviews or surveys or focus groups or all three. We ask employees what they think about the organization's purpose, about its goals, about its strategic anchors, about what differentiates them from their competitors. And we gather all of that information and make decisions based on everyone's voice, not just the executives. So now, what are the components of a great but simple strategic plan? Well, the first, and I would argue the most important, is your purpose. This is the why for the organization. It's also often referred to as your mission statement. And it should be very, very simple. It should be short, 6 words or less, so that not only your executive team, but everyone in the company can remember it. Your goal is that you could call anyone who works at this company and ask them what the purpose is, and they would give you the same answer. That means not only does it have to be simple, but it has to be repeated over and over again. Leaders should consider themselves chief reminding officers, constantly reminding employees about the purpose and the strategy so that everyone not only remembers it, but understands it and see how they are connected to it. For example, our purpose is to unleash the power of your culture. And if that purpose speaks to you, then subscribe to this channel to join a community of people who are passionate about workplace culture. We talked about purpose. Your purpose is your why. Well, your strategy is your how. So the first thing you have to do is figure out where we're going. What are the ultimate goals of the organization? Another way of asking this is, what will have been possible if we live our purpose? But people often confuse mission and vision, so we like to say purpose and vision. Your vision is the vision for the future, and it can be something that is aspirational, something that motivates your employees and your executives to keep driving forward, but it also needs to have a measurable component to it. We need to be able to answer the question, how will we know when we've done it? What metric can we use to determine that we've achieved our vision? While the purpose is something that is timeless, your vision is something that is probably only 3 to 5 years away. Your vision can be updated frequently as you accomplish your goals and then set new sights on a new goal. So now you understand what your organization's purpose is, your why, and you understand the first part of your strategy, which is your vision, and the metric you will use to determine if you've achieved your vision. Now it's time to figure out your priorities, or another word for priorities is your strategic anchors. These are typically 3 anchors that will determine the decision making that each of your leaders makes on a day-to-day basis. They are the top 3 most important things that your leaders need to be focused on in order to achieve your vision. Altogether, your strategic plan and your purpose are like a cohesive narrative for your organization's roadmap. If you were to say all of it in one long run-on sentence, it would be the story of this team. Our purpose is to blank. And if we do so, we will be able to blank, which is your vision. And we will know if we've done that when we achieve blank, which is the metric for that vision. And the way that we're going to get there is through these 3 priorities: blank, blank, and blank. You fill in those blanks with what makes you unique and what you and your team believe are the strategic differentiators for this organization. Now, don't fall into this trap. Many leaders, when creating their strategic plan, when it's time to come up with those strategic anchors, they just fall back on listing the functions within the organization. For example, they'll list sales, product development, and marketing as the top 3 strategic anchors. But those aren't strategic anchors. Those are just functions. They are the departments in your organization that need to do their job. The way that you know if you have a really great strategic anchor is it's something that touches all departments. It spans the entire company. Every employee should be tied in some way to all of the strategic anchors. That's how you know you have a really powerful strategic anchor that drives priorities in your organization. And when your leaders come to a crossroads and they don't know if they should go left or go right, they can revisit the strategic anchors and ask which decision would be most aligned with our strategic long-term priorities. And then finally, you need to have key results in your strategy. The key results are the measurable way that you will determine if you have accomplished those strategic priorities. Once again, you have to be able to measure what you're trying to accomplish. It's the only way to be able to celebrate whether you've accomplished it or not. It's a way to recognize the efforts that people are putting in towards that strategy when you can actually see the key results that you're getting closer and closer to achieving. All of those things, your purpose, your vision, the metric for your vision, your strategic anchors, and the key result metrics that you will use to determine if you've achieved those strategic anchors can all fit on one slide. It should be the background for every desktop in your company. It should be a handout that's given to every employee to post on their desk somewhere. You can give it out in little laminated wallet cards that everyone can carry around. Everyone is aligned behind the same purpose and strategy, then you are way more likely to be able to activate that strategy with your culture. To learn more about how you can activate a culture that drives towards your strategic goals and gets results, see our video on activating culture to deliver an impact. You can see the link in the description below. And before you go, I have a free gift for you, which is an ebook on how to activate culture to get your strategic results. You can click on the link below in the description to get a copy, or you can go to gift.culture.io to get your free resources.